Thank you for joining today at our noon devotion time, whether you're watching at noon or you're watching at some other time. We've begun the month of July. Of course, today is July the 2nd. And as we journey through this month, I know you're joining with me in prayer and many others that the virus will begin to curve down and things will begin to be better. In the meantime, I encourage you to keep doing the things that you're asked to do, that we're all asked to do, to stay well during this time, and just praying that God is at some point just going to say enough of the coronavirus, and we can begin to put our lives back together in a more normal pattern. Well, you know, I love the book of Proverbs. You've heard me talk about it many times. Of course, I love the whole Bible. The book of Proverbs is just one of 66 books in the Bible. And actually, there's some great verses in the book of Proverbs. In the Bible, there are 31,102 verses in the King James Version Bible. And all of those verses are God's Word, and each one of them has a special meaning if we will just let them speak to us and think about what they're saying. But one of my favorite verses in the Bible is in the book of Proverbs, and it's in Proverbs chapter 27, verse 17. And the verse says, "As iron sharpens iron, let one man sharpen another." I have that verse underlined. I have that verse highlighted. And each time on the 27th of the month, when I read Proverbs chapter 27, when I read that verse, I think about that, you know, it is true, iron does sharpen iron, and it's also true that people can sharpen other people. And sadly, it's true that people can dull other people, and we don't want to dull other people. We want to sharpen other people. And, you know, as I think about that, I think about people in my life, and I want you to think about just for a moment people in your life that have been iron for you, I-R-O-N, people that have sharpened you and made you stronger and made you better. And that's a good memory journey to go down, to just think back over your life about people, perhaps like mine. Many of them will already now be with the Lord, but people that just came into my life, and that people that are in my life now, they're like iron to me. They sharpen me, and what a blessing it is. And then, you know, I think it's a good thing to think about people that you have tried to be iron in their life. You've tried to encourage them. You've tried to, sharpen them, as the Bible says. And you know, that we may not be comfortable thinking about that, but I can think about people in my life, in past and present, that I try to be iron to them at this particular time in their life. And then I think it's a helpful thing to think about even now some ways that you can be iron in the lives of others. Well, of course, one of those ways is by your example. By your example. I think of many people that in my life I have watched go through difficult things, and yet they remain positive, they remain steadfast, and their example was like iron sharpening me, that one day when I might go through difficult things, that I could find in me what they seem to have in them. And I remember people like that. And when I face challenges, I think of people that have been examples to me when they too face a challenge. You know, another way that you and I can be iron is to encourage other people. Just encourage other people. And I try to think of people every day that I know that need some extra encouragement, and it may be a text that I just send to say, how are you doing today? Or maybe they're not even able to receive a text, and I may text their wife or their husband and say, you know, how are you doing today? And just in the text, try to encourage them by letting them know that I care. And I know I've had people do that for me before. Whether it be by a text or an email or a phone call or a note in the mail, these little things seem to always, you know, show up at the right time. And so that's something you can do. That's something we can all do. We can be iron by simply being an example. We can be iron by encouraging other people. And then another way, a great way to be iron in the lives of others, is by your prayers, people that you pray for. I encourage you, if you don't have a little prayer journal, it'd be one of the best things you ever did. It will just expand your prayer life and keep you somewhat on track. And then have in that prayer journal a list of some specific people that have some very challenging needs that you're praying for, and just from time to time let them know you're praying for them. Nothing brings comfort to me more. Nothing sharpens me, encourages me any better than knowing that somebody, that people are praying for me. That's something all of us can do, something you can do. And I encourage you to consider that. And then, let me mention quickly one other way that you can be iron in the lives of others, and that is by your presence. Now, we can't always be present, and during the coronavirus time, physically we really can't always be present in ways we normally would, but there are those times that your presence. I was thinking of this last Saturday at a funeral that John and I were leading, and even though many people could not come because of the virus, there were like maybe 60 or 70 people that were present, and they were scattered about in the chapel. But I thought as the family saw these people there, their presence probably encouraged more, sharpened more, helped more than all the words John and I said. And I can think of times in my life where we've gone through various challenging, difficult things, and just the presence of someone. Now, I don't necessarily remember what they said or if they said anything, but they were there. I call that the ministry of presence. It's a great way to be iron in other people's lives. So, one of those great 31,107 verses in the King James Version Bible says, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. I encourage you as we begin this new week, really, and we begin this new month, I just pray that you will just think of opportunities that you have, that you and your way can be iron to sharpen and to encourage others. Well, have a great July 4th weekend. Stay safe, stay well, and I just pray it will be a great time for you. I look forward to being with you next time. God bless.